We tagged this message this morning, Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving Day. And Thanksgiving is a unique kind of a holiday when you stop to think about it. As far as I know, nothing special ever happened on the fourth Thursday of November that affected our entire nation. No one famous was born on that day. No continent was discovered. No nation declared their independence. No president was born. No treaties were signed. No significant battles were fought. There aren't any special interest groups honored on the fourth Thursday of November. Not secretaries, Father's Day, mothers, laborers, not even veterans. Nobody. Nobody. The day has absolutely no significance as far as the church is concerned. It isn't the beginning of a new season on the church calendar. No saints was martyred. No waters was parted. No miracles were performed. You can say amen. There's probably one that said, where you going, Pastor? The fact that some people long time ago had a picnic in the woods is no excuse for us closing businesses, shutting down schools, banks, post office. Everything closes down across the country but Walmart. The fourth Thursday of November. But every year in November, we make a pretty big deal out of celebrating nothing special. We get in our cars and we travel hundreds and hundreds of miles to Grandma's house. And recipes that have been passed down from generations have been dug out of the file cabinets. And the china and the silver come out of the china cabinet. And huge tables are spread with food and tablecloths. It's beautiful. Colors of orange and brown and candles. Make special trips to the grocery store, back and forth, because I went but I forgot something, and I have to go back. Our refrigerators by Wednesday is so full, we can't find nothing. Woo, somebody need to say amen. Practically all Thursday, we in the kitchen cooking. Turkey's going dressing. We got ham, sweet potatoes, collard greens, black-eyed peas, cornbread hash, and homemade pies. Got the ribs on the grill, football all day. You got the Bears and the Lions, the Bills and the Cowboys, the Saints and the Falcons, all day long. And you sit there and you got your favorite drink, and you can't wait till Mama say, come on and let's eat. Even the poor make out pretty well on Thanksgiving Day. Instead of a bowl of soup and a slice of bread at the mission, several area churches that treat everybody to a bountiful meal. Some agencies give food baskets on that one special day, just turkeys, ham, whatever you want. That's one night of the year and everybody goes to bed with a full belly. Waiting on leftovers the next day. We got turkey salad, turkey sandwiches, turkey omelets. Turkey. Make a pretty big deal out of celebrating a day when nothing special ever happened. And that's really unusual when you stop to think about it. Yet it also seems so strange and appropriate. the fact that we choose a day to give thanks and says something specifically about people in the United States of America. Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving Day. Day that reminds us that gratitude is a condition of the heart. It's not necessarily a response to anything special that happens in our lives, or rather it's a lifestyle that we are called to live. But let me put a little bug in your ear here this morning. My daddy used to say, let me hang something on the clothesline of your mind. The Bible says, be ye thankful. Oh, y'all missed your shout this morning. Maybe I should say that again. The Bible says, be ye thankful. Somebody say amen this morning. Thanksgiving Day has three faces on it. It has three faces on it. It has a historical face on it. It has a secular face on it. And it has a spiritual face on it. Okay. And this is the day of Pilgrim's face. And you know the story about the Pilgrims, American Pilgrims who barely survived the first winter in New England, and they celebrated their first summer, and they celebrated their first harvest. And we call it Thanksgiving. But here's the real reason why they came here. That the Pilgrims came here to this land to worship God in their own way without restriction. That's what they was thankful for. They wasn't thankful for the turkey. They wasn't thankful for the harvest. But they was thankful for that I can lift my hands and I can say, thank you, Jesus, without no restrictions and nobody tell me when and where I can say thank you. Their faith helped them through great hardship. Let's look at the second side. Thanksgiving has a reference to the national holiday authorized by Congress as a day away from work and business. And as usual, President George Washington established the first official Thanksgiving Day in 1789. And there was a controversial decision about that. Newspaper editorials complained that each state should be able to regulate whatever they want to do and call whatever day they want to call Thanksgiving on the holiday. But it wasn't until 1827, Thanksgiving Day, as we know it was proclaimed by the Congress on the third Thursday of November. All states began in the year until 1863, when Abraham Lincoln made the proclamation and called the last Thursday of each November was observed as a national holiday of Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving Day. Now here's the spiritual side of it. Our National Thanksgiving Day celebration reaches way back beyond the Pilgrims. Somebody say amen. It reaches way back into the earliest religious roots of thousands and thousands of years ago. And it's a reflection of God's reminder to his people to be thankful for many blessings. And I think this religious face best captures the passage of Deuteronomy 8. And if you read it represents a time in history of the Hebrew nation, very much like the history of the early American Pilgrims. After suffering and struggling in the desert for 40 years, trying to reach the land of the promised land, in Israel, they have finally made it to the fruitful lands flowing with milk and honey, and they gather together to celebrate, but even more to remember who gave them freedom, who got them through the promise, through the desert, who provided the manna when they had nothing to eat, who gave them the strength to make it for 40 years straight. struggled with. What are you thankful for today? He gave them freedom. He gave them freedom, and they were devoted to praising and worshiping and serving Him, God Himself. Let's go back to that 2 Corinthians. Thanks be unto God for His unspeakable gift. What is the gift? What is the gift? Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave, that whoever shall and have. That's the gift. That's the gift. That's the gift. Romans the 6th chapter 23rd verse. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. Psalms 69, book of Psalms 30. I will praise God, name and soul, glorify Him with thanksgiving. That's the gift. The question again is, what are you thankful for? What are